Hi, I'm Kevin. Welcome to this week's Draw Along. This week we will be drawing the first female superhero, Wonder Woman. Created by William Moulton Marston and artist H.G. Peter, Wonder Woman first appeared in All-Star Comics issue 8, published by DC Comics in 1941. Since then, Wonder Woman has gone on to become one of the most popular superheroes ever created, becoming part of the big three of DC superheroes, along with Batman and Superman. Okay, to begin with, we're going to do our blue stick figure. And we're going to put a little curve in the spine of our stick figure for Wonder Woman. So we got that line of action. So there's kind of a slight curved line for her body. That's the line of action. So you can see I've just kind of drawn it to the side where her hand is. So now we'll go out and start bulking out the body, bulking out the figure. That's what we're going to do now. So we got our figure bulked out. And I wanted to make Wonder Woman look strong but feminine, so got those curves there as well. But she's still looking quite muscular, and she has a bit of musculature to her as well. So just laying bits on her there where her eyes, nose and mouth will go. Doing hair, I enjoyed drawing the hair. The hair was kind of fun to draw. It was very swooshy, so that was quite fun to do. I think I made her face a bit too small though, so later on in the image I'll go back and fix that. Also, her neck's a bit too long. She's got a kind of a tiny face and a long neck. But like I said, yeah, that gets fixed a bit later. So I wanted her to have a strong jawline as well, but I didn't want it like a square jaw. It's still got to be quite feminine. But yeah, as you can see, that neck is far too long there. I played around with her for a bit, so you can see I'm zooming in and zooming out, because if I've zoomed in too close, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know, wait, does that look right? So zoom out to make sure everything looks okay. So there we go, bit of the musculature. And there we go, I'm going to start fixing the head a bit. And get those curves on. Be confident with your lines when you put your lines down. Instead of having them scratchy, just be confident. At this stage, it's okay to have them scratchy, but when you go on to the inking stage, you don't want your image inked too scratchily. Be confident with putting your lines down. So there we go. Yeah, I'm getting annoyed with that neck. It looks kind of right when you kind of zoomed in, but the moment you zoom out, the head starts to look a bit too small. So if you can see to the image on the right, on the left, would be it's on your right if you're looking at the screen. Yeah, you can see I've adjusted the face there. I've also been reading a lot of Invincible. I've just finished reading Invincible, so my artwork's starting to come out looking a bit like Ryan Otley's artwork. Which I don't think is a bad thing, I like Ryan Otley. So going in, there we go. So you can see I've changed the face. Look, I made that jaw a bit longer. Still strong, quite feminine, and I've given her quite big eyes. The thing I tend to do when I'm drawing female characters, I've noticed. So yeah, the nose is kind of inspired by Ryan Otley. Also thought this drawing looked kind of a bit like an Eric Larson drawing, if you've ever seen Eric Larson's artwork. So I always give the lips kind of like an a shadow. So that top lip's always got kind of a shadow to it. That's just a stylistic choice that I use. For the hair, right, when it comes to hair, you want to kind of make sure it's going all in the same direction. So if you're going to have a parting, make sure one side of the hair is going in one direction, one side of the hair is going in the other direction. In this case, the wind's kind of blowing Diana's hair kind of over into like a kind of swooshing over. And we just use curved lines for that, but just make sure they're going all in the same direction. That W on her chest is quite hard to draw. I think it took me a while to work out it was a W. Get some shine to the bracelets and the girdle thing. I messed up this hand, that hand was far too small, so I went back in a bit later. I thought I expanded it there, but I didn't. Oh, in the background, if you hear noise, that's someone mowing their lawn. So yeah, those confident lines, especially for like the legs, if you want to make something look smooth, that line has to be confident. Whereas you can see with the bracelet there, it was a bit more scratchy with my line work there. Adding that shine to her boots. I adjust the foot at some point. I can't remember if it was in the colouring stage. That foot on her left leg looked too small. As you can see in the finished inks on the side, yeah, I've gone in and made that foot longer. Adding some shadows to the torso. So my light source is coming from the left side of the page. Or Wonder Woman's left, hitting the left of Wonder Woman. This is all just to try and make the figure look a bit more three-dimensional as well. And the lasso of truth. I got annoyed drawing the lasso. And we get on to inking the hair. Inking the hair was a bit difficult, so I go where I think the shadow is going to be. So nearer the roots, the shadow is going to be darker, and then kind of when it bulks out, that's where the light's going to hit it. And I wanted the hair to look kind of full-bodied. Wonder Woman doesn't tend to have like straight hair. It's kind of thick and wavy. So I thought it was important to do thick wavy hair. Okay, yeah, so that's where I'll just add in like some shadows again, like I said, where I think the hair will be darkest, almost in shadow. And yeah, there we go, we got our inks done. Now moving onto colours, so I've done the flats already, and I'm just going to add our shadows and our highlights. For this one, I decided, because I'm thinking my artwork in this picture looks a bit like Ryan Otley. I'm not saying anything near as good as Ryan Otley or anything, or Eric Larson, but it's got that kind of toony feel to it, I think, kind of cartoonish feel. I decided to go in with shadows that are, rather than blending them, just using different colours, just different tones to make the image a little bit more three-dimensional. So as always, I'll add the shadow where I believe the shadow is, and I'll add highlights where I believe the highlights are. So yeah, so I think again I quite like this method of colouring. So going forward, I might be using this method of colouring for other images. So getting the shadow again and the shine on there. So this is kind of like a gold plate. So we want to get, and same with the corset thing, the belt. We want to get our shadows and our highlights to be kind of golden. And again, anything that's obscured by parts of the body, so the torso obscuring that rear arm, that arm's going to be more in shadow. Doing the foot. So yeah, it was off screen where I fixed that foot when I was doing the flats. Get some of that shine on those bracelets as well, those gauntlets. Some shine on the pants. And I went in and added the white to the stars afterwards, because sometimes it's easier if you're working on something like this to go in and add that bit of colour before instead of doing it whilst you're in the flat stage. So adding shine to the hair. And again with comics, it's kind of like traditionally they used to use blue for black haired characters as like the kind of highlight colour. I went with a bluish grey for the highlights in Wonder Woman's hair. And then the light shining will be a white light. So yep, get the tiara done. Fix the lips up a bit. And then I just need to do the lasso. So colouring this was a pain as well. As you can see, it wasn't the quickest process I used. This is going 6 times as fast as I actually did it. So I locked it, and then I just added some shadow, some light. To the image. And that was Wonder Woman. So there we go, we have drawn our Wonder Woman. If you have drawn along, please send your drawings to me at Kev's Draw Along on Instagram. It would be awesome to see them. I don't really get anyone send any drawings in, so it would be nice to see if someone's drawn along with this one. Yeah, I think next week I might finish off and do Aquaman, as we've done most of the Justice League so far. And we've done Batman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman now. And yeah, so I'll finish off the Justice League with Aquaman next week. Until then, keep drawing, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.